I tore two of the main muscles of my left hamstring. So we were working 6-7 days a week, overtime like crazy, starting at 8 in the morning and finishing at 9:30, 10 p.m. at night.
Welcome to our second episode of College Graduation Advice, a small series where I decided to interview people who graduated like me and who experienced some difficult things that a lot of students may experience after graduation. So I hope this video will be helpful for you guys. So I will interview my friend and mechanical engineer Mohamed, and he will tell us about his first job and how it was challenging for him and how he changed his job to be more happy in his life and in his early career. So let's go. Mohamed, can you come? Yeah?
Hi everyone.
So Mohamed, thanks so much for being here in this second episode of the College Advice before graduation. So please tell us about your graduation. I think you graduated maybe 6 months ago?
It's almost a year now. Well, basically I went to McGill University in mechanical engineering. But the thing that really interests everyone is when you get closer to graduation, how do you feel about finding a job or not finding a job? And in my case, and I believe it relates to a lot of students, is that when I was getting closer to the day of my graduation, I still didn't get a job and the final exams were coming.
I think you had maybe 5 or 6 interviews and then you got rejected, right?
Exactly. I was applying almost every day after going back to the house and everything, just sending resumes, making cover letters, and doing the same as everyone else. As I continued procrastinating and putting so much effort into finding a job, I finally managed to get a job. I graduated on the 28th of April, and on the 2nd of May, I was already working in aerospace.
Right.
So
no vacation, no nothing.
Exactly, and that was my first biggest mistake. So as soon as I graduated, I started working. I asked them if it was possible to get some vacation or whatsoever, but you have to understand the companies and so on and so far, and they need their employees to start working on projects. So I started working there for 7 to 8 months, and something that was really important during that period of time is that I realized what kind of life I wanted to live, because during the 4 months of the summer, starting from June all the way to September, I was working like crazy. Like, we got some projects and we had limited resources.
Yeah.
So
I think the company didn't want to hire more people, right?
Exactly, and that's gonna happen to a lot of you guys as well. You're not gonna necessarily have all the resources and the personnel you need in order to complete a project, but you still need to make it happen. So the thing is that, even though you don't have those resources, you're gonna work like crazy, and your supervisor expects you to work like crazy because they have a deliverable to a client. So we were working 6-7 days a week, overtime like crazy, starting at 8 in the morning and finishing at 9:30, 10 p.m. at night, getting back home. So you could imagine I didn't have any life. I sacrificed a lot with the people that were precious to me, my friends, my family, and so on and so far. And one of the things that is even more important than that is your health. And just to give you an idea, after having finished all of that work, which was in September, I actually went with the colleagues playing soccer or football, however you call it, if you're from Europe or North America, right? So I went playing football or soccer with my colleagues, and on my first run, I tore two of the main muscles of my left hamstring.
Shit.
I ended up being in bed for 6 weeks, not being able to move, not being able to do anything. And it's at that point in time that you realize, what are your priorities? Because we never have time to take a break and just say, okay, what do I like to do? What do I want my life to look like? And so on and so forth. Because you're so much into your work, you're running everywhere, you don't even have time to think. It was really during that period of time that I realized how much health was important. And
what was the shifting point? When was the day where you decided, okay, I have to find another job because this one I'm not happy in?
The shifting point was really when we just finished with one of the biggest projects we had. And we were doing 7 days a week, working nonstop.
After the summer, right?
Exactly. And right after that, another project came in, right? Which makes sense. This is perfectly normal. That's the industry, and that's how it works. You have to make profit. But the thing is that as soon as the other project started, it was once again welcome to overtime. Exactly. It was the same thing. Even though they promised, oh, this is only a once in a lifetime opportunity, we need to do it well, and so on and so forth. So if you see the same mistakes being repeated continuously, then you see the red flag. Hello. Like you need to change.
Yeah. You have to trust companies when they tell you something, but if you don't see any proof, if you don't see any change, that's a red flag. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
And at that point, you have to make your decision for yourself, not for the company, because the company obviously is making its money. But at that point, I just went around online and looked for the jobs that would match my interests. So when I was looking around, Mazi told me about like PwC. They have a hiring process that's happening in September and so on and so forth. So you know what? I told myself, why not? Let's apply. I applied and I went through the first round of interview. So I went there, I had my interview and everything went super well. I got the call telling me, congrats, you got the job. I was so happy.
Yeah. That's when you decided to quit your first job,
exactly.
right?
I had a couple weeks of medical leave because of my hamstring. So I simply kept those couple weeks to relax and really recuperate from my hamstring. And as soon as I got back to the job, I gave them my resignation letter. So at that point,
you got the job, and then you didn't want to make the same mistake, so you got some time off.
Exactly.
That time it was 1 month.
Exactly. As soon as I got the call saying you got the job, I got back to my other job. I gave my resignation. They were like, "It's still a month early from your night job." I was like, "Yeah, but I'm going on vacation, man. I'm sorry."
So learn from your mistakes.
Exactly. I went for a month of vacation. I really enjoyed myself. I came back reboosted with like a lot of energy and a little tan, but it went away.
Just a little word about that. So a lot of people get their first job and then they stay there for like 2, 3, 4 years because they're scared of job hopping in their CVs. That's true, but if you're truly unhappy, you shouldn't be in that job. If you're truly unhappy, you have to change, even if it's 1 month or 1 week into the job, because your happiness and you is the priority. You can always find another job, but you can't have another health condition or another life. So,
And just a point I would like to add on the top of that is, for sure, if you're not happy with the job you have, search for another job. Don't quit the job you have before getting something else. It's not logic, right? And don't quit for any job that comes up. You're really trying to pinpoint the job of your dreams. You're trying to get the job that you wanted to get before your graduation or at any point in time after having your job, gaining more experience, developing like your resume and so on and so forth. At that point in time, when you have that job that you dreamed about, then you could give your resignation to your employer and say, thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. I'm going to remember everything you did for me. And I hope we could stay in good terms. That's just the professional way of doing things.
Some additional tips. If you're scared of saying yes to a job and you're not really sure, don't forget yet that you can ask questions to the HR people. You can message people on LinkedIn in that company and ask them for a coffee or a call, just to make sure that everything you've read online about them and everything the HR person told you is true, and that you're sure that you love this job. So you have plenty of means of
communicating with people and making sure that what you're doing right now is the right thing to do.
So Mohamed, tell us, if you had to do it a second time, if you could go back in time and then speak to your old self, what would you do differently?
Well, really briefly, in mind I have a couple points. The first one is commute time. I would think really, really big time about the distance from my place to the work environment. Because that's something you do for yourself. If you don't want to spend 2 or 3 hours in the bus, in the traffic, in your car or whatsoever to get to your job and get back home a day, you want to consider that option for sure. Going from here, commute time is number 1. Vacation that the company gives you, because obviously we're not living just to work, right?
Yeah.
We're living to enjoy life as well. Passing good moments with friends, family, and so on and so far.
Wow.
So vacation is really a good point. Salary, like if you're being paid below your standard, you could still go ahead and look for other jobs. Don't get me wrong, never quit your first job before getting something you really want from your second job. Number 3, it would be really about the company culture. You look at how the people at work are interacting with one another. If they're ready to help you out, if they put themselves out there for you to reach if you have any issues, that's really something you want into your working environment. Not everyone goes in their office, oh no, I don't want to see this guy, blah blah.
Yeah.
Like, we're there to help each other, and it's only as a team that everything comes together. So, yeah.
So thanks so much, Mohamed, for all of your tips and tricks.
No problem.
Thanks for sharing your experience. I know a lot of people live this situation. So thanks for showing us the way and the solutions. And I hope you'll come back for another episode, maybe.
I would really love that.
Yeah.
And just before leaving, one last tip to everyone: regardless of your major, regardless of anything you did, you could still change like different environments for work.
Yeah.
If you're ready to learn.
Yeah.
That's the only tip I have. Thank you very much, my
Thanks, Mohamed.
It was a pleasure to be here.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
That was episode 2 of the college graduation advice series. If you didn't watch the first episode, make sure you watch it. I'll put a link in the YouTube cards. Thanks for watching this video until the end. Tell me in the comment section below if you've had this situation, if you didn't like your first job, and what did you do about it? Did you stay in that job, or did you try to find another one that will make you more happy? So hit the like button if you liked it, and make sure you subscribe for more career-related videos. So I'll see you next time. Ciao!